The worm I talked about briefly. You have an event come in and then play out multiple times. Web scan is just like a clip2 style scan. It's also where you've got a lot of 404s or 403s outbound, things that are not really completely normal for web traffic. Behavioral, I probably shouldn't actually include it here, but behavioral is based off of the snort behavioral events. Admin protocol, SSH scans. Attack tools are known attack tools, tools that, like the SIP I mentioned before, the SIP scanner. SIP vicious is a big one, by the way. And zombies, which, as I mentioned before, can sometimes be detected using IRC when you've got a big peak in network traffic. There's limitations to this kind of solution. The first one is you have to err on the side of caution. There may be traffic that looks very, very bad, but a customer is expecting it to be allowed on your network because it's totally normal. Getting back to the example of IRC connections. Say a customer has been using an IRC server on their system for a while, or even if they haven't, they just turn one up. And then they suddenly start streaming out a lot of video. Those by themselves aren't very bad, but you've got a peak combined with a bunch of IRC traffic that could look like a zombie. So you've got to be really careful on what you turn on, what you take action, what you turn off, and what you take action on. The system is primarily reactive. You may be taking action after damage is already done. The goal of the system isn't, so IPS is meant primarily to prevent these types of things, right? The goal of the system is to slow the attacker down. It's somewhat similar to a honeypot, but different in scope. What I've found is that most attackers aren't targeted attackers. They're opportunistic attackers. They're looking for a specific thing that's vulnerable on any server anywhere, and they don't really care what it is. Or I should say, don't care which server it is, they just want in. So they try the same thing against a bunch of different systems. This system is primarily designed to keep those kinds of guys out. They start scanning, they attack host client number one, and with any luck, they are unable to attack anybody else after that because my enterprise level system has detected it, without the client needing to take any action at all. So to conclude, cloud providers really don't appear to be internally policing their clients' networks at all. And really, they should be taking reliable measures to detect both malicious clients and compromised clients. And I guess at that point, I'll take questions. No, I have the advantage of, since I'm from a corporate environment, I have an excellent marketing person here who did the majority of the visual design for me. I'm nowhere near this talented.
You mentioned about one client may compromise another. How do you prevent against that?
Well, the goal of the system is to, I guess there's no more danger of a client compromising another client. When we talk about compromise, I mean breaking in from one client environment to another client environment than there is from an external environment breaking into that same client environment. The concern for client to client is primarily one of contention. So when a client, and this is another thing we've seen, ARP storms, right? They start broadcasting just a lot of ARPs, trying to bypass the switches. What that does is it puts a load on the network, and so since it's a shared network, everyone else has less network throughput. What we do is we detect those sorts of things using an internal series of IDSs that I didn't really talk about here, or NetFlow data. Anybody else? No? Okay. Thank you for sitting through. I appreciate your time.